Okay, we're here for another episode of the Podium Podcast. Cool guest today. Big fan of both of their music. Try to get these guys as much attention as possible because they just recently dropped a single and a album's coming soon. Oh, did they already dropped?
It's dropping April 4th.
Gotcha.
April 4th, yeah.
So yeah, let me just start off with questions. To kick things off, could each of you introduce yourself? Share your name, ethnicity, and what current role that you have in your group.
Yeah, I'm Brian Ennals. The MC of the group. That writes the rhymes.
Okay.
And black.
Awesome. The reason I bring this up, it's an audio podcast.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm Tariq. I suppose I make beats, but I make beats just for Brian. I'm a composer by trade, which is like, I'm not really a beat maker, but I know how to make beats.
Okay.
And I'm half black. I don't know. I'm black. There's no getting around it.
What? It's whatever the cop pulls you over. That's easy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, what's your DNA makeup?
What's your 23andMe?
Yeah, exactly. Which I just did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found out I'm 17% Filipino.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's what's up.
Somebody was out there lying to me my whole life.
His whole life.
Yeah. What was like? How would you describe your music for people who has never heard it before?
Tariq, you start off that one.
Like me and Brian's music?
Yeah. As a collective.
I think that we're very good at abstract thinking, and we communicate in a certain way that is hard to communicate with other musicians, and we just do what we like. I don't like. We're not like, oh, we're gonna write a rap album and it's gonna be so hard. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put in like a piano piece there. You know what I mean? It doesn't. We're you know what I'm saying, Brian?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
like whatever we want to make.
Yeah, it's fundamentally hip hop, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the word eclectic is a good word to put. You know what I'm saying? We make bangers, but we don't feel confined by I don't know, traditional sounds or traditional concepts. You know what I'm saying? It's to pat ourselves on the back. It's some next level shit. You know what I mean?
Well, it's definitely honest. If there's anything
for sure, honest.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever heard Brian talking about being rich. Because that man is not rich.
No, I'm almost as poor as him. It's crazy.
Well, that's what I like about you guys. You're very honest, like very, very honest, which I don't get. I don't find shit about. Like most people try to like humble themselves in this music scene, especially rap music. But you guys are just like, fuck it, let's just be who we are, and you're just gonna like it or not. Which I think that goes with like you guys bring up hip hop, but it also goes with like a very punk aesthetic too.
For sure.
Let me ask, how'd you two like meet each other, and how'd you two thought about like working together?
Oh yeah, I dropped a project in 2013 called Candy Cigarettes, and Tariq can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you heard it or if you read a review in a local paper or some combination of the two. But this was, again, 2013. He created a Twitter account to reach out to me, DM me, just to say what up.
Yeah,
and
like a fake one. When they still had eggs for the...
Yeah, there was no profile picture. It could have been a rapist wanting to kidnap me, and I would have had no idea. You know what I mean?
I was like, you want to come over my house?
Want to come over my house and jam?
You literally is what I said. And I wasn't even making beats at the time. So what happened, we used to have this free paper. I think it came out like...
The city paper came out every week, didn't it?
I remember it came out Wednesdays. Yeah. And it was like a paper that told you the news, but from like an underground perspective.
For sure.
And everybody, it was like very revered.
This was in Baltimore.
For sure.
Yeah, it's called
Baltimore. No longer in print, by the way, as a lot of print died out, but it was the shit though.
Yeah, and I didn't have I was a Luddite. I still am. I try not to. I don't know. At this point, it's like it's like easy for me not to care about what's popping. But at the time, I tried to be like read the papers and he was a rap review, which is fucking rare, because it was like a bunch of crackers running the scene.
Yeah.
But this was like, I was like, a rap review. I got to check this out. I checked it out. My mind was blown because every sentiment he had, I was like, I have this the same. I feel just as bad as him, you know. And we still do. We feel bad all the time.
Yeah, and we just we were friends for a while. I came back to Maryland after living in Jersey for a little while.
You'd come back from time to time.
Yeah, I came back occasionally. Yeah. But permanently I came back, and we started hanging out. We just did a record for his solo project, Dear Sudan.
Like 2 or 3.
We did like 3. We did 3 records for that project. And then we were at a party one night getting fucked up. And we were, he was like, let's just do a whole EP. And that turned into the first album, Rhino Double XL.
That's not King Cobra. That was the one before that, correct?
That was, yeah.
That was the one before King Cobra.
Said it the best was like Rhino was like a college film, and then King Cobra was like the feature film or whatever.
Right.
Which I have mixed thoughts about it, but if that's how people perceive it, then that's
what it is.
That's at the end of the day. That's because that seemed to me like a general consensus.
Okay. Before I get on to my next question, how long did it take you to do King Cobra altogether?
1.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we spent more time planning it out than we did recording.
Yeah, recording was like 2 or 3 sessions. We banged it out quick.
Yeah,
after we got everything taken care of and written or whatever.
Yeah, because we talk more than we make music. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
And then whatever concepts we talk about, Brian puts it into writing, and then I usually it started off as me giving him a metronome and him saying whatever, and then eventually me giving him skeletons, and then I would sort of mix around,
build around it. Yeah.
So it's I don't just give him beats. He raps, I make a beat around his rap, or you know what I mean. That's why I'm not a beat maker. I don't have beat packs. I don't know how to
I
got
you. Yeah. He doesn't send me emails with like 30 completed mixed tracks and say pick one. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like he has something and he's like, this is kind of the vibe of it, or this is the flow or how I want you to bounce, or this is what we can do conceptually, and we just kind of build from there.
Well, let me ask you, Brian, do you only work with him, or do you work with other producers?
Yeah, I've worked with other producers. I've done a few features over the past couple of years. I'm working with Blockhead right now, ASAP Rock's dude. Okay. We're working on something, you know what I'm saying? But he's, that's like a one-off. Me and Tariq are, a group, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely my main producer, without question.
Awesome. This is my next question. A lot of your music seems to touch on very like radical, politically charged themes. What would you say like radicalize you guys personally?
I think reading Revolutionary Suicide, like freshman year of college.
Yeah, I love that book.
I think that's what I was like. Oh yeah, okay. That's what got me on my shit for real.
Okay.
I think just poverty.
Oh,
it's like abject poverty, and
that'll do it.
Lived in post-colonial.
Yeah.
Quote unquote post-colonial.
Yeah.
A lot of countries. Madagascar is like one of the poorest countries in the world. When I went to school in Tanzania, so my first language was Swahili, and we weren't allowed to speak it in the schools that I went to. We had to speak English, and just a combination of shit. I dropped out of high school. So I don't know. I don't have any sort of dogmatic views or subscribe to like Leninism or any of that shit. I just
right.
You were just living. Yeah, you were just living. You were living. Yeah, I'm
living. I'm angry.
Yeah,
shit's not right. Everybody's getting fucked up. Fucked over.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of. I mean, me and Brian more or less the same.
Yeah,
yeah.
With you, Tariq, it's very similar to, I won't say what radicalized me because I've had like things before, but I definitely say when I went to Haiti, especially when I was like,
are you Haitian?
Maybe like 15.
Yeah. Are you Asian?
Yeah, Haitian.
Oh, okay, bet.
Like when I went there, because I've been there before, but the early, like the late, like the last time I went there was the one that really like put in the what do you call it, the class consciousness, because the separation between like the rich and the poor.
Sure.
Yeah, so when I saw that, it kind of like oh wow, it's not like it's just bad, it's really really bad. And then you read more about Haitian history, reading about them owing money to French, which is a bunch of bullshit. But
Y'all
yeah,
should
it's
have
like
never gave those motherfuckers reparations, man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big that's the biggest heist in modern history. That shit's insane.
Yeah.
The best way to learn about these sort of geopolitical topics is just being in an Uber and talking to Africans. I met this guy in from Niger, and I've always known this, but Niger has like a huge uranium deposits, and the people there don't have electricity, so all those uranium deposits go to France for their nuclear power, because they depend on nuclear sort of fusion for their power. But it all comes from Niger. But that's one example of Africa being so resource rich. The Congo,
Yeah.
I mean, they're the poorest country in the world.
Yeah.
I think they make on average $250 a year.
Yeah.
A year. And that's if you're the average guy.
It's like how's you gonna get those iPhones, man?
Yeah,
Right.
It's I mean, I don't know. I've always wanted a united Africa, but it seems like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are sort of they have the people behind the new leaders. And
Yeah, the Burkina Faso dude is ill.
Yeah,
I don't know his name, but he's sick.
Dude. He's like
30 he's like
something.
38.
Yeah. So he's a young dude. He's got the people behind him, which is like the best thing. Because before I feel like there was a lot of foreign interference. What they did to Iran, where they basically installed a super religious regime that started a whole lot of. Now we hate them, and we created the Taliban. There's always foreign interference that fucks up a country, but like the dude was telling me, it's like kids, the younger generation in Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, Niger, they're all sort of getting hip to CIA bullshit.
Yeah.
Which for the longest time we were called like conspiracy theorists about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it just especially now, it's just like because I look at videos now from like Congo and stuff, it's just getting worse.
Yeah, that's a bad situation.
Yeah,
to put it mildly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we just see it now. It's always been going on, and so the International Criminal Court of the Rwandan genocide is in the town that I was born in. So growing up, I saw a lot of Rwandan refugees, and just a culmination of that shit. And the thing that really upsets me is how rich Africa is. Like, if we're talking materialistically,
with resources,
and they have nothing.
Yeah,
I think I don't know the stats. I could be just talking shit, but I think 97% of it goes to the West.
Yeah.
Like 97%. 97% of all of Africa's resources.
Well, let me ask you because I've always had these conversations with people because I'm Haitian, and Haiti and America is like tied together. My idea for them to actually have sovereignty would maybe go somewhere like China or something like that. I know Africa and China has like a relationship real quick. I don't know if you think that's going to help them in the future or anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I saw it because I used to work in Kenya, and they built a bunch of highways and shit. So I don't know what I don't really know what the catch is, but
there's usually a catch.
Yeah. Well, during the Cold War, a lot of countries were gaining independence, and the 60s, 70s from these colonial powers, and the Soviet Union sort of used that as like because there was segregation here, and they were just like, hey, look, join our side. We're there's segregation there. we don't have these kind of shits in Russia, become communists or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So America immediately ended the segregation, the Jim Crow laws and shit, you know, because literally because the Russians were like, we don't have that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, there was proxy wars where they were giving America was funding the apartheid state, and Russia was funding Angola. You know, so you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what the Chinese are trying to do. Maybe they're trying to win over the hearts of Africans for their scheme, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to defect to China.
No, I get that. I think that's fair criticism. I always tell people, like, you know, but for black folks anywhere, it's going to be the same old bullshit.
Right.
So always just be like hyper vigilant and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, I mean, I like a lot of shit that you know, what I hear about China, but they're still like an imperialist sort of
exactly
force. You know, I don't know what it is. I don't really. I'm not a. It's not. I just don't. I don't really trust any major like states.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That much power is crazy.
Yeah. No, I think that's 100% valid.
Yeah.
So let me get on to my next question. What's your thoughts on modern music journalism? Do you think platforms like Pitchfork, Complex, or others still play like a significant role in like shaping the public's perception of music, or do you think we're moving towards an era where like algorithm-driven platforms like Spotify recommendations and TikTok virality are like starting to dominate how people discover music and, you know, consume it too?
Definitely the former. You know, Pitchfork, which I still read, obviously, but I'm almost 42 years old. So, you know, I definitely think that's a millennial thing that's dying out. I know my nieces and nephews who are in their late teens, early 20s, they're not going on Complex or the Fader to find new shit. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely, you know, streamers as well have a big say in what's popping right now. You know, the Kai Cenats and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? So, print journalism as far as music criticism goes. And the thing is now, because all these fandoms are set up, you can't even criticize. You can't have an honest reaction to the music. If it's anything other than praise, then you get 100,000 people shitting on you on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So, things are changing for sure.
That's like I don't know. I saw one criticism of me and Brian's record. I was like mostly positive. I would say it was 99% positive. That's like the blessing you get if you're a smaller artist. It's like everybody that's going to listen to you did it on purpose and they're going to love you.
Right.
But I saw one negative comment, man, and that I had to like sit in the dark for a couple.
He sat with that for weeks.
You said it was a comment? You said it was a comment, or was it like a?
It was a review.
It was a Reddit post, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a Reddit post. Yeah,
it's just shit from Reddit.
Well, no, I'm not even on Reddit. That's the thing, because I find music like Brian the old school way, or I just like what I used to do when I was a kid. I'd rent a bunch of CDs from not rent, but borrow a bunch of CDs from the library. Anything,
okay.
Literally,
yeah, I actually did the same thing. Yeah.
Anything I could get. I work the same way. Now I have Bandcamp, which they have great articles. So I just found this Japanese band, like a performance group from the 80s, but it sounds I don't even know what they're called, but I found it through Bandcamp. I wouldn't have found it any other way, you know. But it's because I read the articles they have. So. But yeah, it's definitely we can't get away from the TikToks and the influencers and all that. I mean, that's what it is now.
Just what it is.
Let me ask you, because obviously you two are grown ass men. Obviously, you're not going to cater to that kind of audience. Would you be happy if one of your songs just randomly blew up on like TikTok or something? Like just use it as like a sound or something like that. Do you think that's going to help your career, or do you think that's going to like not attract the right audience for you guys?
Whatever pays, man.
I was gonna say, man, any audience is the right audience, man.
Yeah, well,
you get what I'm saying, right?
It's just, for sure. No, totally. You don't want that type of influence to misrepresent what you stand for.
Exactly, yeah.
Or to put you in a position.
especially you guys being so politically charged. Like,
Yeah. We don't want to have to compromise either. But
got the Rage Against the Machine effect, where a bunch of
Yeah.
jocks and conservatives love
and
them.
frat boys and shit
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't know what
exactly.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they're like hardcore, like leftists, you know.
Yeah.
Like just listen to the lyrics, and then they're just like. But I don't know. They were kind of esoteric, and here's the thing: I have a problem with leftism, like specifically leftism, is that like the left are snobbish.
Okay.
And the modern left, at least, are snobbish, and they refuse to communicate with the working people or day-to-day people. I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it. Like the average American reads at a very low level. You know, that's why Trump and these Ramaswamis are able to communicate with them, because they have this fake populist rhetoric.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and then leftists are, going deep into Maoism and all this
Exactly.
shit. It's like,
I'm around these people a lot. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I avoid them. I've made it a point not to hang out with anybody that graduated from college, except Brian. Like,
Yeah, same thing.
besides Brian and my girlfriend, I don't really. I was at a party once. We're doing a bunch of blow, and like these dudes started talking. These like rich kids from New York City. We're talking about like Marxism, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, we're doing blow. Shut the fuck up. Let's talk to some bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do think I 100% agree, just because I do go to a lot of protests and like talk to a bunch of different people. I try and like at least make it my job to try to talk to different perspectives as much as possible. But I 100% agree when it comes to people who got the education, they kind of like forward more to like elitist kind of standards.
Oh,
like
more so than not.
Yeah.
It's like it used to be a really common thing. Like, I'm not entitled to educating you. It's like kind of the leftist version of like pull yourself by your bootstraps.
I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like, are you flexing? I don't know. It's just because like so I used to be homeless, and this white family helped me. Like, I call my aunt and my uncle. They're not really by blood, but they took me in, and they took a lot of black, trans, gay kids in. But you know what? They're the biggest fucking Trump supporters ever. And it's not, and like, I'm not condoning that shit. I push it back as much as I can, but in a sort of construct, I'm not like, what, fuck you, but they're working people.
Yeah.
And like I
agree with you coming from, because like I said, I'm from Florida. Like, I'm from Miami.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
exactly. Like, I know plenty of like Hispanics, whites,
Cubans,
Haitians.
Yeah.
I even know Haitians who like support Trump and stuff like that.
What I
For
tell
sure.
you, Brian?
Yeah.
What I tell you about
Yeah,
that
we were
shit?
just talking about that.
Yeah. I was in Washington recently. I just stumbled upon a bunch of Trump supporters for inauguration. They're just normal folks. I think their opinions are stupid, but just normal people.
I mean,
like,
dude, it's like we're all getting fucked out the same
exactly.
way.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants the same thing, but
Right.
Trump knows. He knows what people want to hear
I
and
agree,
how
yeah.
to speak to these people, and like you can't underestimate the power of a used car salesman. Because
Right.
I used to be, unfortunately, I worked in sales very briefly, and I had to sell CBD products to people, and people just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't,
Yeah.
they don't care about. They would literally be like, "Will this help with this?" And if I said no, they'd like push back. It's like, "Are you sure this won't help?" I'm like, "Okay, fine, yeah." Then the sales went up,
Yeah.
and I hated that dishonesty, but it's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's
It's interesting you brought up the Trump supporters. You might know who this guy is. You know a guy named Andrew Canahan, Channel 5, All Gas, No Breaks? Oh, that sounds familiar by any chance.
No, that ring a bell.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
He's a YouTuber. He does like street interviews. He goes around the country interviewing. You might came across
Oh
him.
yeah, didn't he have a big controversy?
Yes. We just actually interviewed him recently because he's dropped another movie.
Okay.
about what you guys talk about, like Trump supporters and stuff. And
Yeah.
basically, he was talking about similar what you were saying in the sense of, the left, has this idea of like when the revolution happens, it's just going to be us, but you're just going to disregard all the people who vote for Trump.
Yeah,
and that's
first of all, I've seen you leftists. You're fucking weak. You're not doing shit. Your fucking ceiling leaked, and then you cried to your landlord. Shut the fuck up.
And it goes to the Fred Hampton. It goes to the Fred Hampton thing, man, where it's like you have to build a coalition with everybody, regardless of.
That's why they killed his ass.
Well, that's why they killed him. You know what I mean? Because he started actually bridging working class people, and leftists have this thing where they're just not malleable at all. If we don't agree on every single issue the exact same way, then I can't move forward with you.
Right.
And it's like, if we have a common fucking enemy, we gotta let some of that shit slide and deal with it when this is over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all the nitpicking and the
nitpicking.
I don't know. I think it like I'm not really conspiracy minded, but sometimes I can't help but think it's like some sort of like psyop, because sometimes sometimes I hang out with people and I'm like, dude, like you can't really truly care that much about that.
Yeah.
Or that sort of insignificant thing when like we don't even have basic health care.
Right.
I have a theory. It's just like nerd culture, like with sports or like with like comic books or shit like that. I think it's just the same thing, which is like people overly obsessed with something, and it's like you critique it for one thing, and it's like they're God. And then you make one little remark. It's like, no, it's actually this. It's actually that. It's like, and then they get very up in arms about it because that's all they know. Like they don't know. They can't just be a regular person. This is like the whole personality. So I think that's another factor to why a lot of people like that.
Well, I think, and I don't know if it's unique to Americans, but like what you consume tends to be your assigned personality. Just it happens a lot. I've seen. I know a lot more. Like at this point in my life, Americans. But like, if you like anime, you're gonna go deep into that shit. Mm-hmm. You're gonna go to what is it called? Otakon. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go deep into it. It's just like
weeaboo. Stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like which. Whatever. It's like that's what they like to do. But like, it's like we base our sort of personalities, and I'm not immune to that shit.
Yeah,
sure.
So I went out the other day and like everybody was kind of dressed like me, and I was like, damn. I went to like this hipster bar and I was like, holy shit,
He's like, am I this?
Yeah, I'm a stereotype.
I thought I was cool.
Yeah.
Nah, because I mean, like the thing is, like I is the shit I wore when I worked at a warehouse, which is like really popular now, like Carhartts and all that.
Yeah.
I had the beanie and like my dirty pants, and then
like working class aesthetics and shit like that.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not immune to that sort of to being a part of just a weird whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
More stuff. So my next question is actually for Brian, because I want to talk about your lyrics.
Sure.
I want you to just give some more context to like what's I mean they're pretty like straightforward. That's why I fuck with them. But what was the like inspiration or what's amused you to like say this sort of thing? So I'm just gonna start reading up a couple of them.
I gotta take medication for a second. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Because it's videoed.
Yeah, you're fine. It's all I'm editing this show, so whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
I'm addicted to Xanax.
There you go. That's gonna be the intro.
Yeah. Start with that.
Yeah.
No, for real. Start with that. Go ahead.
Chris Donner is a motherfucking legend. I know that niggas in heaven. After we eat the rich, then we're gonna murder the reverends. So I'm just curious, like, what was the like thought inspiration around that?
Yeah, I mean, first is just the basic idea that you want things to rhyme, obviously, you know what I mean?
Oh, no shit.
Whatever in heaven, whatever the case. But Chris Dorner, obviously, pop some cops. It was an ex-cop, obviously. So just wanted to give props to him and shout him out. Yeah, and he ascended. So I'm like, the heaven thing was obviously like a joke or whatever, but it's it shows how I view him and how me and Tariq view him and how people that agree with us view him. And then the reverends, they're some of the most corrupt people on the planet. You had another line about Joel Osteen, where just this take, and these times. And a lot of times there isn't an equal contribution to the communities. Nothing's wrong with belief or organized religion per se, but just the way they operate.
I mean, if you just have a little bit of like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you have more, if you're a preacher and you make more money than everybody in your congregation, something's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a grift.
It's an obvious thing. It's very obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a fucking grift. That's all. So fuck them. You know what I mean? That was
have
what came from.
excuses.
Yeah.
My mom is a big, we went to, obviously, black family.
Yeah.
We went to a lot of prosperity gospel sort of wherever churches we had, like it was like, you will be blessed, you will be rewarded for this and that, and how you got to do that. You got to buy a Mercedes and really pretend to live this, and then and you know what I mean. It's just like, this is literally like, if Jesus was I don't know, but if Jesus was around, I think he would not very much appreciate this. But then and then here's the excuses, like, Abraham was a very wealthy guy and Solomon was a very wealthy man. And, so it's just like, we were also not allowed to eat pork.
It's funny you bring up the Jesus thing. I just saw a reel on Instagram the other day. There was a guy, it was like, oh, what if Jesus was an immigrant? It was like, does he have to like come in and like show his boy? And then some Trump supporters.
And the lady was like, yes.
Like, as long as he's got his papers.
Yeah,
she dug in. I gotta respect that. She was like, "Fuck no."
She's consistent. No, she was consistent. She's like, "Oh, he doesn't go
to the border. I'm gonna pop him." Like, okay, shit.
Yeah, at least say what you want. At least they're like, the rules apply for everybody.
She was not fucking around, man.
Yeah. My the next lyrics is, I fully supported the riot at the Capitol. The rednecks had the right idea, just the wrong motivation. Elaborate.
It's it goes back to what we were saying a few minutes ago, which is same enemy. They should have burned the whole fucking thing down. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when I see liberals who are the worst, and even leftists saying, "Oh man, they're criminals, the Giants, January
people to the FBI and shit."
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, man. I was like, I thought this is what we wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I thought this is what we wanted. Like, yeah, they're Trump supporters and they're doing it for some dumb shit, but a means to an end.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because funny thing, when that was happening, I was doing Uber and I just went to a random like hood spot, like just to pick up food. The Capitol, and I had no fucking news about this. I just saw it on the fucking screen, and all these motherfucking white folks just taking over the war area. And one dude made a comment: if it was a bunch of niggas, like they would be shooting like no regard.
It would be over.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been the massacre of January 6th. Was how we referred to it.
The only like major gun law passed was because it was during Reagan's administration. It's because a bunch of black people went to the Capitol in California.
Well, the Panthers.
Yeah.
It was the Panthers.
California, Brian.
It was California.
It was Oakland, right?
It was governor. Yeah.
And they immediately, California has some of the strictest gun laws.
They were like,
They're like, no more niggers. No more niggers.
Yeah. Everybody can have a gun except for the ones who actually, want to do revolution.
And I was just talking about to my girlfriend who like, look, I don't like guns, but I hope I never have to use it. You know what I mean? But it's like, my girlfriend's very uncomfortable with it. She doesn't want to be around them. And I was like, look, yo, you're a woman, first of all. And second of all, what are you going to rely on? The state to come through?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is like, because at the end of the day, we like, you've seen what cops do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've seen, it's just like, you need one. You live in America. The one side has a majority of that shit. And it's the side that hates you. It's the side that hates me.
Yeah.
It's the side that hates transgender people.
No, I agree. At least be prepared. That's all you can do.
I hope we never have to come to that. I hope not.
Yeah.
But you don't fucking know. Like, I'm sure like the people during the Bolshevik Revolution They were chilling in their palaces. They didn't know they were those motherfuckers are planning on some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just happened.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
It will be the
100%.
opposite of the Bolshevik Revolution, though.
Yeah. Let's go on to my next one. Libs mad because we shot Joe Biden. Turning on the news, everybody's crying. We ain't scared. We ain't hiding. We ain't going peaceful. We were riding. And just another question. Obviously, you guys, you know, you don't show any like sympathy to the Democrat Party whatsoever.
No.
What's like the biggest failure that you saw during the 4 years of Joe Biden?
Oh my God.
Oh
Like,
man, I can't count the ways, man.
Just give me one. Just give me one. Just make it short.
Not going further than the Affordable Care Act
Okay.
and implementing, or at least attempting to implement, a universal healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
That'd
Gaza.
be Gaza would probably be. Gaza's up there too, obviously. I mean the continuation and the purple way, you know, the instilling of, you know what I mean, Israeli as a world power and as an ally in the United States, and perpetuating, which was the word I was trying to say. You know, what's a genocide? Is the biggest moral failure internationally.
I mean, it doesn't matter if he was the most quote unquote progressive president that we've had in our lifetimes. When kids are being shot in the head and documented and live streamed, I don't give a fuck who you are of what you've done. Stop that shit. You know?
That has to stop. But
and,
you know,
and we kept giving those niggas weapons.
Yeah.
we just sent them more weapons literally 2 days ago.
Yep.
Literally. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and you have all this shit that's happening in America at the moment. Yeah, it's like, but Israel is like the main target.
Israel's the priority.
Man.
Yeah. We just had a flooding, you know, a couple of days ago, but they'll be fine. But Israel, oh my God, did you see what happened? We have to send like $2 more billion.
It's like, welcome back, white girl with dreadlocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's just.
And
like,
I just know, and the funny thing is, like I said, I'm from Florida, so I know like so many like Jews and Jewish people who like who are against what's happening, and they told me they've been to Israel. They told me they're the most arrogant like people. They just think like nothing. Like they just think they're the top shit. They think that
bro.
Yeah, they have the It's part of the culture to in Israel that like doing something for somebody without getting something in return, you're like seen as a sucker. Like that's, you know, altruism is seen as a negative trait.
It's like very Ayn Randian. But yo, let me tell you something. I lived in South Africa immediately after the apartheid ended. White South Africans, I can say without a doubt, are the
worst people on the planet.
People ever.
Hands down.
And they come here and they have the Rhodesian flag, and you don't know what it is. A lot of Americans don't know what it is. But like a lot of the South Africans I've met here hold those weird Nazi-ist sentiments still. You know, this guy was complaining during the 80s or the 90s that these guys broke into his house and poured hot water on him and his wife.
No, wow.
You know, and I was like, oh, you know, you kind of, you know, you don't belong there.
you definitely deserve that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And that's what they feel entitled to Africa.
And,
and that's what I feel like these because it's just to me like, okay, yeah, there was always Jews in Palestine. Well, but like seven of them. You know, there was like 10 of them.
Yeah,
mostly, but the rest were like Muslim and Christian areas.
Yeah.
You know, then 1948, suspiciously, all these Hungarians and Polish people. Yeah, it just started showing up, and they're like, "Oh, we were always here. What do you mean?
Like, this has always been my house."
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a weird level of arrogance.
I don't know why your pictures are up.
Yeah. It's just a weird level of arrogance where you could just show up at some motherfucker's house and be like, "Oh, this is just mine now."
Yeah.
And then it's like, "Oh, it's like even if I don't kick you out, someone eventually is gonna do it."
It's
so
like,
just,
how about
let
you
me
take this house? Yeah, sure, you own it, but just give it to us.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the best. It's the best you can do.
Yeah.
You know, but we've seen the video.
Yeah,
you know, I wanted to smack that little hat off his head,
bro. There's just like entitled and like I said, I've been to so many protests here. That's
it's an arrogance, man.
And I just see like because this is a huge Miami particularly like supports a lot of like what Israel's doing at the moment. So you see have like Israel people live here. So when protests happen, they're like the biggest like, "Oh, you guys deserve death." I even heard like rape, like screams and stuff like that. Yeah,
The
Yeah.
moment
yeah,
you say that thing, like that kid was like Zionists don't deserve to live, he had to like apologize.
Sure.
Those niggas, those fucking when they talk about Palestinians and like put like spilling napalm on the shits, they don't have to explain themselves ever, you know. But when you're like, yo, Zionism is like a cancer, they're like, but do you condemn Hamas?
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like, you know what, nigga, I don't. I'm gonna tell you right now, what the fuck do they have? They're not allowed to have nuclear war. These are motherfuckers in sandals and fucking shiesty masks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, and with a slingshot.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, just a rock.
Yeah, you know.
Literal David and Goliath shit. You know what I mean?
And the way the media dehumanizes them is such like bullshit, because I just remember when the first incident happened, that like I forgot the amount, but it was like 36 dead babies or some dumb shit
Yeah.
like that. When I first heard that, I'm just like, that doesn't sound like a thing. It's like they're like literally decapitating babies, like they're trying to prove a point. I'm like, that
So
doesn't.
that doesn't sound right.
Putting babies in ovens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like you know, it's like, you know, man, that was, and then they had that nurse who was in the hospital, and she was like, Hamas is making us stay here. She had this like horrible Arabic accent.
Yeah,
You know, she was like, Hamas is making us stay here. And then they had the bombs, but it was like the same bomb sound. It was like, pachoo,
Yeah.
pachoo.
yeah,
You remember that, Brian?
Yeah, it was like, oh, you made all this up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's the you know, the self victimization is insane for the people in power to be acting like that.
Point, like, you know, like, I don't know. Baltimore, I think, has one of the highest Jewish populations, and it's very. My girlfriend's Jewish, and she's a Russian Jew, and there's definitely a lot of, you know, people, a lot of Jewish people who are doing like a really hard work to, first of all, to not get accused of, to not be lumped in with that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
hard, because like you know, it just sucks, you know. But they also have a lot of sympathy for these Palestinian folk, you know. I don't know. It's just it's some cracker ass shit is what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it comes to. That's all it comes down to. You know, like those IDF dudes are having problem with sunburn. That was like an issue with them, and it's like yeah, I'm from here. It's like, bro, why do you have sunburn? It's like, no, I don't. You have sunburn.
Been here thousands of years.
Yeah.
My skin always peels when it gets hot. Not sunburn.
Yeah,
that's so fucking crazy. But yeah, I agree.
It's like I don't know. We all feel the same way about it. It's just, it's like it wouldn't be so fun. It would be a fucking joke if kids weren't dying.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I've cried myself to. I don't cry. I'm like, it's very hard for me to cry unless I'm drunk. You know, but I've like cried myself to sleep. Just like how can we let this happen?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many pictures of like people holding like dead babies and like you
Yeah.
know,
It's like, and every time it hurts. It
Yeah, no,
doesn't,
100%.
I just like my best friend just gave birth, and she, like, that's my nephew. I mean, Brian Keaton, Brian's son, that's my nephew. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a bunch of bullshit. Just, hopefully things get a little bit better with the ceasefire, but I don't even see that happening because I got friends right now in Gaza.
They're still bombing. Yeah.
No, I got friends at Gaza who's telling me like that it doesn't mean shit. They're like, yeah, so 100%, hearts go out for Palestinians.
And the IDF is still gonna harass people.
Exactly. Yeah, this shit's not gonna go anytime soon. But
I mean, it's like when they put body cams on cops.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, thank you.
Right.
When the cops all kneeled down and did the fist thing, and it's like, all right, how about you kill yourself though? That would solve a lot of problems.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's another thing too.
Yeah.
We were discussing, and I hope if I'm taking too much time.
No, you're good. You're good. Say what's on your mind.
I was sitting here with my girlfriend's college-educated people, and I was just going on a rant because that's what I do, you know. And I was like, I mean, because I love people, you know. I
I'm gonna check
believe,
on my son real quick. Be right back.
yeah, you
Gotcha.
do your thing. I love people, and I think most people in the world want the best for everybody, however they see fit. You know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of people are duped into thinking that trans people are like evil or whatever. But I think generally people are good. However, if you're a pedophile, I gotta kill you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like there's some things you can't. There's some like if like I see you shoot a kid, you gotta die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta go. And they're like,
Yeah.
but you sit there and you would hear their life story. Would you feel the same? I was like, dude, I can't. That's why leftism and liberalism is we're always caught in this like philosophical battle. It's like, no, dude, we gotta fucking end this shit now.
Yeah.
If my neighbor's a pedophile, I'm gonna make his life very hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's even worse in like places like Israel where they just like, oh, you could just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
to
that's
these
what I'm
kids.
saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you gotta just behead some motherfuckers sometimes.
I 100% agree. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever read Fanon. Like what's it called? I forgot.
People understand?
I'm sorry. What?
The shit. I got the book.
It's like concerning violence, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the justification for like colonized people to retaliate and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I 100% agree. It's like, especially if you've been oppressed for so long and they just do whatever the hell you want. What was that Killer Mike quote from like a couple years ago? It's like, we're killing them for freedom, but they're like, because they tortured us for murder. Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They're on the Run the Jewels record, right?
Yeah. We're killing them for freedom because they. Oh no, sorry. We're killing them for freedom because they torture us for boredom, something like that.
Right.
So yeah, I 100% agree with that sentiment. 100%. Especially me being Haitian, that's the only way we got like somewhat independence.
Yeah.
Violence is definitely the answer in most cases, man.
Yeah. I mean, Kendrick just won literally a fucking award yesterday for fucking violence, so
Yeah.
that's the biggest point.
Shit.
Let me go on to my next question. Hip hop has been a platform for like revolutionary voices, but recently we've seen figures like Kendrick Lamar and Killer Mike evolve into mainstream moral roles. For example, Kendrick Lamar is performing at the Super Bowl next week, and Killer Mike's, he's a fucking landlord. How do you feel about like these people who like started off? And I'm not saying like their intentions was always to be radical. Obviously, they want to be rich, but what's your thoughts about them like using like a lot more like radical themes and like stuff to get more popular and then slowly abandoning it over time?
I mean, it's selling out, isn't it? Like that's the definition of the term. And I can't knock anybody for wanting to be rich, but being a landlord is not cool, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing cool about being a landlord. There's nothing cool about being a fucking cop. I guess people got to do it. You got to make your money somehow. But I mean, I
don't know. But like you said the other day, there's call centers.
Yeah, there's call centers. There's like 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 Biggie said, UPS is always hiring, man. There's options.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
get
I don't know,
LLC, bro.
But like Kendrick has always been a Grammy darling. You know what I'm saying? The one good Drake line he had was, Kendrick just opened his mouth, somebody hand him a Grammy right now.
Yeah.
It's like that. And that's the thing. But he's on stage in the prison jumpsuit and the crown of thorns. It's just, I don't know.
Would you say that's like very performative? Like it's just like appealing to white folks?
It's just something. There's something disingenuous about it that strikes me as weird. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. I have to be very careful about this because, like, the more people listen to us, the more shit leaks, and but I think a lot of rappers are hacks. I think a lot of because you have to be.
Yeah, when you say hacks, you mean like the people we're talking about, like Kendrick and Killer Mike. You just talk about in general.
In general.
Okay.
And a lot of these like sort of. But you have to be somewhat to sort of communicate with the general public.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I think I agree. I think I saw like a video essay one time talking about Kendrick Lamar, and it's a little corny the way he said it. But he said basically he's the Lorax for like white people. Like he speaks for the fucking white people. I thought it was like a weird analogy, but it kind of makes sense if you know what I'm saying.
I don't. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's like because here's the thing. Like I've worked in warehouses and all these shits my whole life. I mean, and I know regular people, and they don't give a fuck. They're waiting to see the next show on Netflix. All this, so like this performative stuff is as close as we're gonna get right now to sort of class consciousness.
Right.
So I might see it as hacky or corny or sometimes just downright like stupid.
Yeah.
But a lot of Americans are stupid. And you know, you just if that's the way you gotta communicate your message, that's what it is. You know, I can't you know, get your money, bro.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, dude. I don't know anything about Marx. I've never read Marx. I've never read any of that shit. I can't even pretend to know about that shit. So when you know, there are some things that like I tried to read like Das Kapital, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
No, yeah, I agree.
You know, so like I don't know. I need shit simplified for me a lot, and I feel like that's what needs to happen in order for people to understand it, you know. But the thorns and shit is like I feel like all right, you're doing
Like, come on, man,
you're doing a little much.
Yeah, you're doing a little much, buddy. Yeah. We're saying this now, but we're doing a Heinz ketchup commercial in 2 years. I don't want anybody to come for us. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're getting your money. I don't blame you.
Look, man, Monsanto, if you're listening, I will make Ben Carson look like Marcus Garvey. Like right now, I'll do it. You know. Yeah. Nah, I don't know. Like Brian said to me once. She said it to me yesterday. You have to stand for something. You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys think you're doing a good job, like conveying? Because obviously, you know, you have more of like I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm just gonna say what's on my heart. I'm not gonna be no political correctness whatsoever, right? Would you say like you're conveying that message to the point where it's like I'm trying to like convince, not like convince, but try to like see people where we're coming from, or is it more like what you're saying when we first talked, like avant-garde, like express your guys like inner true feelings? Like, is it more you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the people? I guess is what I'm asking.
It just comes out like that, man. Like we never sat down and said, "Hey, man, we got to reach people. We got to teach people. We have to expose. We have to expose them to the world and what's really going on." It's just that's who the fuck we are, and that's the thoughts in our head, and that's just how the shit. I'm not rapping about this shit like intentionally. It's what comes out because that's what I'm experiencing and what I'm seeing. I don't know how you can write about anything else. You know what I mean? Yeah. Other than it being a reflection of who you are. When it's not a reflection of who you are, people see right through that shit.
We wanted to make a party record. We didn't want it to be a political record. The new one. Like, I think we specifically...
That's funny you said that with your single, because the single was like, I don't think I can like play this at like certain parties.
Yeah. I mean,
I love the single, by the way. I love it.
Thank
like,
you.
It's
appreciate it, man.
Yeah. I just think like it's just it's hard. I don't know. I mean, this is what goes through my head every day, you know. And I'm half between Brian, where it comes out just naturally, but I'm also half. The greatest thing about working with Brian and me and him working together is that Brian is straightforward about what he's saying. He's not, you know, what is Zach?
There's not a bunch of entendres and
yeah. You're not trying to be clever. You're just to the point. Yeah,
to the point.
Blunt. It's like
right.
Yeah.
You know, like know your enemy. I think something. What's his name? Zach Delarocca is like. He's talking about the educational system, and he's like, "You're eccentric," and I'm like, "Nobody's gonna know what the fuck you're eccentric means, bro. You know, just say it's some cracker ass shit that you're learning right now."
Yeah,
you know. I and look, man, they shaped me. Rage Against the Machine shaped me, but I was like actively listening to what they were saying, you know. And the older I get, the more it even makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of Dead Prez Let's Get Free when I was in high school. So, like, that level of this is what the fuck it is and whatever's going on definitely had a big influence on my writing, too. You know what I mean?
Did you ever listen to Coup? I think they're
Not
corny.
really, not
They're
my
corny.
thing.
Do you guys? What's your thoughts? Do you guys like Sorry to Bother You? That's one of my favorite movies ever.
No, Sorry to Bother You is a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I opened for that motherfucker. What's his name? Bootsy Collins? No,
Boots
Boots
Riley.
Riley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bootsy
I
Riley.
opened for him when I was in a band,
Mm.
and
Was this before he made the movie, or was this after?
it was
Probably around that time.
Okay, cool.
right, yeah, right around that time, and it was like the first big act I've opened for, and he just kind of, he was late, and he was a really short man, and he didn't tip. I was like, that's corny. So ever since then, I've just felt a certain type of way about that.
That's interesting.
I was like, you fucking race, you class traitor.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like that guy. I feel like he made a really good movie, especially talking about like worker class.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's just like
That last act was bugged out. What was it? They made him kangaroo monsters or some shit. I haven't seen it in
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Horses.
Yeah.
The
But it's
horses.
just- No, he made them horses. But the thing is like, I'm glad you made that movie and it's great. But I feel like now since you went this like this Hollywood elitism, it's like, I mean, you're not the same person anymore.
Right. That'll change you.
Yeah, exactly. You're not. Yeah. It's not like I'm shitting on you. It's like good for you. You made a good movie. It's just
Right.
you can't come back to your roots after that. Like it's not the same anymore.
I mean, I never cared about the coup. Honestly, I like the message that they had. I just
Yeah.
Sure.
Same like I feel like the same about Arrested Development. Like it's I just like there's some corny rap music from back in the day, and that's kind of where it ends. I need that beanie, by the way, Brian.
Oh yeah, man, I got you.
Yeah. Let me go on my next question. It's only two more.
Sure.
Is it possible for artists to remain authentic to their roots while also getting I think I already something like this, but yeah, is it to remain authentic to their roots while also getting mainstream success? Do you think that the pressures of mainstream notoriety push artists to compromise their original ideas, or do you think they can maintain like the authenticity while reaching a larger audience? I mean, we already talked about a little bit of this like before.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult.
We'll see.
You know,
when we get there.
Yeah, it's just what we were just talking about when you get what happened with Boots Riley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that's what happens, man.
Are you afraid that like just clear? Are you afraid like not afraid, but are you worried that if you guys do get more popular traction, that you might not have the similar authenticness like you once had when you guys like
I think one benefit of me and Tyreek being a little older is that we've been poor for a while.
Yeah, like a real.
So I think that gives us some perspective that somebody that got a record deal when they were 20 and then becomes a millionaire just isn't going to have. You know what I mean? So again, what Tariq just said, we'll see when we get there. I think it's definitely, we blow up, it'll be difficult, but
I get annoyed. I get annoyed already with like, with sort of fans and my biggest annoyance is like the sort of, they start to see you as a concept rather than actual human beings, which happens to everybody. I mean, I used to be the same way until we started gaining fans. So I can understand being jaded from that. That could be one of the factors that leads you to be isolation and sort of what's the word? Sort of like, what is it when somebody is like disconnected? So when you get jaded, you get irritated by people when they see you a certain way, and you disconnect yourself from that, and that could be a possibility. I'm already every time like I go viral on Twitter, I have to put my shit on private, because it's just like I'm not like an attention dude,
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's
No,
I agree because it's like it sucks. I mean, I can't like Ray. I'm probably like broken to both of you, but it's like I agree in the sense. It's just like you just like normal people, just like living lives. You do this thing, and then you get more attention. And it's like, oh shit, now I can't like move the same way because people are gonna like
exactly
take
exactly. That's why I said I had to be really careful about what I said. I'm not just a
sure.
schmuck. I mean, I am a schmuck. I'm
going to say you're definitely a schmuck. Yeah.
I'm still like a lot of people heard King Cobra in the industry, like a lot of people, and I don't want to name any names, but like that 80s shit, that really tacky 80s shit started all of a sudden popping in rap. Somebody called me, a pretty big producer. He called me, got my number somehow, and he was like, I'm such a huge fan of your work, man, and this and that. Like, I'd love to work with you in the future. And it snowballed, and all of a sudden I hear like these old school breakdance that, you know, pop and locking music.
Yeah.
Like the really cheesy part about rap, you know, all of a sudden playing. And I was like, dude, you're connected directly
Yeah.
to this producer.
Yeah.
Like like without a doubt, big people heard us. Like
Yeah.
big people have reached out to us and congratulate us, but that's it. It's like, thank you you did such a great album. Let me, you know, put that in my work. You know,
I mean, it makes sense with the whole like 80s aesthetic. That's why I think you guys are very unique, because I don't really hear that anywhere in hip hop right now. But it kind of makes sense because of the nostalgia thing. Griselda's like big right now because of the whole 90s boom back era. So I think you guys are doing something similar, even though it's not your intentions. Like, you're just making whatever, right? But just that particular
I love Nucleus.
sound. You like what?
I like Nucleus. I like Houdini.
Yeah.
Like,
Houdini's the shit.
I really do listen to that type of music. I think that's
okay.
hard. You know, I try to emulate what I like. It's not like, you know, I love, what's that one? There's no stopping now. What is it? Electric Boogaloo? What's that shit?
I don't know that one.
That's that breakdancing movie, bro.
Breaking?
Yeah, Breaking. That's right. Yeah.
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah,
that's the one. I like that movie, man.
Yeah.
The movie's classic.
You know, I like Cool Mo D. You know, I genuinely do. You know, so my takes on rap are gonna be unk takes. You know, I don't know.
No, I got you. Yeah. I just got one more question. It's mostly just about the updates on the album. So yeah, just give us quick dates on the album. You said it's already dropping. Give me an idea how the process was, like making it and pushing out there.
Oh man, it was that was a rough one.
It sucked.
Mm-hmm. And what's the name of it again?
A city drowned in God's black tears.
Okay,
which is a line from a Sun Kill Moon song. But it kind of to me is like a concept on like cities like Detroit, Baltimore, these sort of like prosperous working cities that black people, you know, occupied after the white flight. And you know, I feel like that's the general idea of it. That's probably not what Mark Kozelek, Sun Kill Moon, intended, but that's how I sort of rerouted it. And you know, anyway,
yeah,
April 4th.
Just a lot of personal turmoil during like the past year. Me specifically, but Tariq also, you know, losing people, mental health issues, whatever the case may be. It took a lot to come together.
A lot of saving each other from
our vices, to put it mildly. You know what I'm saying?
From foolishness.
I was out of it for a while.
Man, that was tough.
But Tariq really, you know what I mean, grabbed the reins, laid it all out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we usually hate what we make once we like finish it.
Oh, we hated this shit.
We were like, oh man, we might have fucked up. But
so
you know,
weird, you know,
it's very weird.
We have no frame of reference. I'm not like, it's not like I'm gonna make a Metro Boomin beat.
Yeah.
And there's no. I can say this. You know what I mean? It's definitely a very different, sonically, at least, and even lyrically than King Cobra. You know what I mean? But again, it's dropping April 4th. But it was rough, man. It was rough. It was.
What would you say is a song you guys want people to like? I need people to like particularly hear this.
The Iron Wall.
The Iron Wall.
The first song. The
first track on the album.
Awesome.
Which is about.
Don't spoil it.
Oh, spoil it?
Yeah, I mean, if you do, if you want to spoil it, read the essay, the Iron Wall from 1923.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that on my phone right now.
Yeah. It's an essay by this dude Herzl, a Russian dude who wrote an essay, and he was a very evil man.
What's it called again?
The Iron Wall.
The Iron Wall.
Iron Wall. And what's his name?
It's like Herzl or something. Hold on, let me. The Iron Wall essay. The Iron.
But that's the one though.
Wall. Yeah. Oh no. It's Zev Jabotinsky.
Yeah, it is. I'll just type, if I type in Irewall essay, I should
Yeah,
get
it'll
it.
pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's free. It's out there. I mean,
Okay,
read it and you'll get the idea. I don't want to spoil
awesome.
it, but
No, I 100% get that.
you know.
Yeah, I can't wait for the album. Like I said, King Cobra was great. Like I heard it 2023, but
Okay.
if I heard 2022, I would say it's probably my favorite album of that year. Just
Well,
because
shit.
it's
Yeah, man.
seriously, it's just so different. Like I just haven't heard anything like that, especially just like aggressive. Like okay, so like I would say like what radicalized me music wise,
Yeah.
more the technique, Run the
Yeah.
Jewels.
How old are you?
Well, I'm 28.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not like I'm like in the cuffs of like all this like new shit, but yeah. But my uncle was a DJ around here in Miami, so like he always give me like I was a big Biggie fan. I was a big like I found out who he showed me Brother Ali thing and stuff like yeah. So I had always like the mix of between both worlds, like younger and older.
Sure.
So that's why I really clinged on to your stuff. But it's just for you guys. It's just I never heard anything like this. Just the sense and the way, and just the overall like bluntness of it. I think that's so like necessary right now for just how the vibe is in America.
That's what we keep hearing, and I feel like I think it's not. We don't go like this is what people need to hear. It's like this is what people feel.
No, yeah.
We're I guess trying to redirect people's attention to the real cause, and I don't know. Brian working with Brian, he's not, like we said, he's not using like double entendres to be clever. He's saying what he needs to say. That's it, and that's what I keep going back to this, but that's how we got to communicate with people. We can't act smart and this dick ain't free. Like, nigga, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Some fucking slam poetry ass shit.
Yeah.
Like, bro, just say like niggas are getting fucked up right now.
Yeah.
CIA caused a crack epidemic. Trans lives matter is what they need to be saying. Like
100% agree.
Don't be crazy.
Let me ask you, I guess last question. I didn't check. Did you guys already announce a tour or anything? Because I was gonna ask if you're ever coming down to South Florida or Miami by any chance.
Nothing in the works right now. We do have a show scheduled right now. We're doing a festival in Malta.
Okay, that's it.
At the end of May. Right now, it's the only thing concrete. But after the album drops, there'll be some dates for sure.
Okay,
we'll get back on that.
USA doesn't pay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and a lot of.
And I will say this: I would like you guys to come here, because it would be cool. But
I'd love to come to fucking Miami.
It sucks for artists. Just trust me. Like,
shit.
It's funny. There's a noise festival in Miami.
Yeah, I'm friends with people who do that.
Yeah, and that's like the weirdest thing to me.
No, I've been there. It's you meet characters. I'll say that much.
It's fucking people that listen to noise music.
Yeah. No. Well, the thing about like around here is Miami, Latin community, Caribbean, shit like that. There is like a niche like I don't want to say hipster because that's stupid, but it's like underground music and shit like that. Yeah. Just like everywhere, it's just here.
Hipster is a placeholder that I use.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't use it like as a pejorative term anymore. I just I'm a hipster.
I agree.
There's no getting around it.
No. Especially I don't know if you've ever been to Miami, you've ever been to Wynwood. I feel like that would be up your alley.
I've been to Miami, but I went to South Beach and I went to a club, and right across the club was like a homeless camp. And
that sounds like Miami.
These people were driving Ferraris, Lamborghinis.
Yes.
And literally, right there was like a homeless camp. And then, my friend and I, we were like, dude, we're going back to the hotel. Because we're Baltimore people.
No, I get it. I 100% agree. Especially, it's just the wealth disparity here is horrible.
Dude.
It's just, it's terrible. That's why I do my shit. Like, that's why I go to, wherever protests happening just to talk to people. And some of my viral videos is literally how, I can't afford to fucking live here, and I'm from here all my life.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's just we're all getting fucked up by the same oligarchy,
same enemy.
And we need to communicate at a level that people understand. Don't pull out fucking Marx and Mao, bro. Like I was talking to my uncle the other day, and I gave him the quote, the MAGA uncle. Well, he's not MAGA, but he voted for Trump.
Yeah, I got you.
I told him the by no means necessary will you take the arms from the working people, and he loved that quote. He loved it, and I was like, dude, that's Marx, and like not even like as a gotcha, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
gotcha, but like he was like, well, so a broken clock is right twice a day, essentially. Yeah. But like, you don't just stop with this fucking self-righteous, like holier than thou leftist shit.
That pretentious shit, man.
Man, they shut the fuck up, man. Especially crackers, dude. They love doing that shit. Once you get a little coke in them, they start talking about like Chairman Mao and like, what, nigga? I don't give a fuck. I literally like I've vowed never to befriend any more college people. I can't, especially white college people.
No,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to be around them. My best friend works as a one of them is a carpenter, and the other one works for he's a cog. He works for the state.
Mm-hmm.
He files claims for Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian is went to an Ivy League school.
Well, I went to Howard. So,
okay, awesome.
Black Ivy League. You know what I mean?
That's Ivy League. Don't.
All right.
What you major in?
Communications, the easiest thing I can find.
Yeah.
This nigga said the radio is gonna last forever.
Never gonna end it like 5 years later. But I just saw there weren't any like required science or math classes, so I was in.
Awesome.
Oh, you did that beforehand?
What's that?
Are you good at math?
No, I skipped. I wanted to avoid it as much as I could.
Yeah. I don't know.
In communications, you had to take one low level math class and no science. So I was like, that's for me, man.
Yeah, I know mad niggas that went into, like, specifically niggas that went to communications.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah, it was a breeze.
But the cool thing about it is you can go into law, whatever degree you have. Yeah,
you can do a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? It's it helped out. Got to work at the radio station when I was, you know what I mean, there, whatever, was dope.
Yeah, I saw Brian do a radio voice once. I've actually seen you do like voice work a couple times. We did one.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say who we did.
When you say voice work, is it similar like, that character from, I forgot his name, but the one from Sorry for Bother You? It's like you got your white voice and you got this. So is it more like
commercials?
Yeah,
yeah, like commercials. Yeah.
He's like,
my voice is a little too deep to ever be considered white, but you know what I mean? It gets a little more enunciation. Yeah.
Like I forgot the term, when like black folks like change the voices.
Code switching?
Oh, yeah, was it like that?
I wouldn't say that.
You ever heard a McDonald's commercial? Where they're like, McDonald's great. It's know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you didn't have to do too much.
Yeah.
It was just
no.
What's Calvin's got a job.
Calvin's got a job. Nigga, you smell like French fries.
Yeah.
Hey. This was an awesome interview. I hope the album turns out great and you guys get what you're looking for out of all this.
Appreciate your time and your well wishes, man. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, and thank you for boosting us. Yeah, any boost helps. We like getting on
any boost helps.
Sort of we like getting on people who are on our level. You know what I'm saying? And I think more people need to work together like how you just and thank you for being persistent, by the way, because I forget shit all the time. And I'm like I always tell people, don't worry, fucking triple, double, quadruple text me as much as you can.
I'm glad you hit me back. I'm so glad we end up talking. I feel because I knew this would be an interesting conversation. It was like I know these niggas like just got some shit to say about what's like.
Man,
Brian, just the way. Yeah,
Brian knows I can talk somebody's ears off.
Yeah, he's a talker.
Yeah, Brian's so quiet. So I'm just the entire time we go on like we go on tour, and I'm just like blah, 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 blah. Brian's not even listening. My girlfriend too. She's like doesn't listen. I'm just like we should behead people, right? She's like, yes, honey, yes.
That's awesome.
Now take your meds.
Hey, but thanks again, man.
Take
care.
If you guys are ever in Miami, hit me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Man.